Come in, friends. The door is open. Won't you sit down? No, not there. Sit by the fire. Let the bristling flames warm you. It is chilly in here, as if the cold air of death were in the room. The door is closed. The demons are ready. Clutch your chair. You are trapped in the Chamber of Chills.
All the stories we tell are true. We believe in ghosts. Do you?
Bad evening. Tonight's story is called Horrific Repercussions, Chapter 2, Part 1. Brought to you by The Bat. Another night has passed, and my weakened psyche has become even more corrupted than before. At this point, I have to believe that this has gotten past the point of psychology. Perhaps this is just another delusion, a mere symptom of this mental disease that festers within me. But I believe the work I am doing is bordering on dark magic, something so vile that its evil nature cannot be contained by this earthly realm. In fact, I believe the twisted stories I am producing are enticing demons into the overworld. And what's worse, I'm sure they see me as the key holder of the gate through which they are traveling. I fear these demons may come back to seek me out, though what they plan to do with me when they reach my doorstep, I dare not ponder. I can already feel their dark presence encroaching on my aura, and the psychotic episode I previously described is only the beginning. My dreams are becoming so vivid that I cannot distinguish them as such. I go through such horrible anxiety and suffering while I sleep that I wake up feeling more exhausted than when I went down, almost as though I have dragged back with me into the waking world some kind of corrupting essence that sticks to my soul like tar. I do not know what good it will do me, but I will attempt to record my trials just as before. Last night, after managing to wring out my brain for another so-called original, true horror story, I felt as though I had burnt the candle enough to be able to sleep. Drained as I was, the only sensation I had was that of guilt for the people whose real-life struggle I had crassly used to inspire that sickened piece of entertainment. I remember thinking, what if they were my friends? What if those people that were murdered and had their last moments plastered onto the media were people who were close to me? How would I feel if some hapless wannabe writer used my loved ones' suffering for mere source material? Such were the thoughts that followed me into the dreamscape. However, my dream began in a very benign way. I was simply standing in my living room, sometime around noon. Although I knew it was my house that I was in, there was something different about it. The space was distorted. The carport was gone, replaced with a garage that was inexplicably conjoined to my living room, doubling it in size. Just that unfamiliar wrongness of the space was enough to set me on edge, but that was only the start. I got an urgent knock on my front door. I rushed to answer it, seeing that it was a police officer. "Good afternoon, sir," the officer began. Good afternoon," I stuttered. "How may I help you?" I've come to warn you," the officer went on. his demeanor suddenly changing from typical law enforcement stoicism to a disturbing fearfulness. "There's something going around. Everybody who isn't sleeping is changing. They're turning violent. They look just like normal people, but as soon as you see one of them, you'll know they're not normal." "Oh no," I whispered, his words striking fear into my heart. "What can I do?" "Defend your home," the officer replied. "Do not go outside. Gather your loved ones and take stock of your supplies, but do not bother going out to stockpile more of them. Make do with what you got. Society is already collapsing beyond the point of being able to provide you with more. And for the love of God, make sure you get good rest." "I see. Thank you, officer. Please go on and warn more people. I'll be all right here." "God be with you," the officer said finally, urgently walking off. I shut the door and leaned against it, my heart pounding. I tried to catch my breath, running the police officer's words back through my head. I was already terrified of becoming one of those insane people he mentioned. After all, I was a chronic insomniac, and I rarely got good sleep. Thankfully, however, I had managed to sleep fine enough the previous night, so I should be good for at least the day. Unfortunately, I had no time at all to look for anything with which to defend myself. For some reason, the garage door, which was ridiculously placed inside my living room, was all of a sudden wide open. I could have sworn it was completely shut just a moment ago, but now it was a gaping hole in my home's defense. I rushed to try and close it, but it was jammed. I cursed it, thinking for a second if I could try to fix it, but I quickly realized that I would have to abandon that hope, for just then I heard a scream from out on the street. My eyes jumped over to the source, and there I saw a woman being chased by a half-naked man. And just in that second, she tripped, and the man was instantly on top of her. Without hesitation, he unhinged his jaw and bared down upon her neck with a vicious bite, the likes of which no sane human could ever commit. As he sank his teeth into her throat, blood spewed in every direction. It was then that I noticed this was not the only disastrous occurrence happening on my street. Gunshots rang out, and the police officer I was just speaking to struck down 2 of those cannibals, only to be swarmed and taken to the ground by a gathering horde of them, to be devoured in an agonizing, screaming, and gruesome death.
No! 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 Get off me! No!
It's not over, friends. It's just begun. Don't forget to listen to Horrific Repercussions, Chapter 2, Part 2, next week. Written by Jesse James Bond.